Welcome back to another episode of Friday Night Frights. Oh, Vampire is sorry that it come out on Saturday. I was under the weather, so to speak. Not bad weather this time, bad headache. I'd beaten to a very intoxicated person. I had but a vampire's call hangover from biting into a drunk person. No, vampires more human side had migraine, and the migraine go pound, pound, pound in vampire's head, and they go, oh my goodness, oh, he stayed in coffin all day. Looking at the heart here, very interesting, yes, and I have book in hand. We're going to be reading more of the scary stories to tell in the dark by Alvin Schwartz and Stephen Gomez. Now, if the heart were to tell tales from scary stories to tell in the dark, would that make this a telltale heart? Telltale heart. You get it. Read more Edgar Allan Poe and you will get it. Telltale heart, vampire make funny. For people in the literary world, you understand. So vampire make a funny. Okay. So anyway, welcome to the dungeon. Have spooky light on over here and spooky lights on everywhere. It's always spooky light on Vampire Dungeon. So, story we're reading right now. Oh, flashy spooky light. Okay. All right, the story we're reading from More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. This one is called The Drum. It says, once there were two sisters. Dolores was 7 and Sandra was 5. They lived in a small house in the country where their mother and their baby brother, Arthur. Their father was a seaman and he was away on a very long voyage. Let's hope it wasn't on the Demeter, because I know a vampire on the Demeter and their dad will not be making it back. Yes, if he's on the Demeter, bye-bye, Dad. One day, Dolores and Sandra were running across a field near their house. Then they met a gypsy girl playing a drum. A gypsy girl. Yes, let's hope that she doesn't have a son named Bela. With a mark on his hand, he'd be werewolf. Her family was camping in the field for a few days. As the girl played, a little mechanical man and woman came out of a drum and danced. Dolores and Sandra had never seen such a drum, and they begged the girl to give it to them. She looked at them and laughed. I will give it to you, she said, but only if you are really bad. Got to watch it around these people. Oh, vampire throat dry. Yes, vampire like the cherry Pepsi. Oh, good human drink. Come back tomorrow and tell me how bad you were, and I will see. Oh, don't do it, girls. As soon as the two sisters got home, they started shouting, which were against the rules in their house. And they wrote all over the walls with the crayons. Well, don't do that either. That's not nice. At supper, they spilled their food. Oh, that's a waste of food. And then when it was time for bed, they wouldn't go. Oh, these girls are cruising for one. and they did everything they could think of to upset their mother. And they were very bad. Okay, that little vampire's going to smack them right upside their head and make their eyes go crushed. Early the next morning, they hurried off to find the gypsy girl. We were really bad yesterday, they said to her. Please give us the drum. Surprised their mom let them go outside. And you weren't grounded. Well, they probably went out without their permission. Okay, makes me even more bad. Okay. But then they told her what they had done. The gypsy girl laughed. Pah! That's nothing. I do that every day, she's probably thinking. When they told her what they had done, the gypsy girl laughed, as I had said. Pah! I do that every day, the girl was thinking, right? That's what Vampire said. Oh, you must do something much worse than that, for if I am to give you the drum, she said. As soon as Dolores and Sandra got home, they pulled up the flowers in the garden. They let the pig out. Who let the pig out? And chased it away. Bye-bye, bacon. They tore their clothes. Oh, those brats. They sloshed in the mud. Oh, my goodness. They were a lot worse that day before. If you do not stop that, the mother said, I will go away and take Arthur with me. And then you will get a new mother with glass eyes and a wooden tail. What does that mean? You get a mother with glass eyes and a wooden tail? What kind of threat is that? It's old world European thinking. Okay, never mind. I'm not going to go into detail. Okay, it's old world European stuff. That scared Dolores and Sandra because they don't want a glass-eyed mother with wood tail. They loved their mother. They loved Arthur. Yes, they did. They could not imagine being without them. And they began to cry. I don't want you to leave. Their mother said, but unless you change your behavior, I will have to leave you. We'll be good, the girls promised. Yet, they did not really believe that their mother would go away. She said, it's just trying to scare us, Dolores said later. Well, we get the drum tomorrow, said Sandra. Then we'll be good again. Early the next morning, they rushed off to find the gypsy girl. When they found her, oh, scary light turned off. She was playing the drum again, and each man and woman were dancing around on the drum, spinning and jumping and kicking and dancing and stuff. The girls like to see that on the drum. Very special drum. They told the gypsy girl that what they had been doing the day before, that must have been enough to get the drum, they said. Oh no, the gypsy girl said. You must be much worse than that. How much worse can you get, man? They sloshed in the mud, they rented their clothes, they vented, they tore it, right? And they let their pig bacon go. Oh man, you don't let your pig go. That's just wrong, man. We promise our mother to be good from now on, said the girls. Well, that's your problem, said the gypsy girl. You want the drum, you got to be bad. And you said you're going to be good, so you can't have the drum. You want the mother, you want the drum. You can't have the best of both worlds. You really want the drum, said the gypsy girl. You must be much worse. Those are the rules. It's only for 1 day, Dolores told Sandra. Then you will have the drum. I hope you're right, said Sandra. As soon as they got home, they beat the dog with a stick. That is it. The bear is after you. You do not beat your dog with a stick. You don't beat your dog with nothing. You know Vampire says be nice to your puppies and your kitties. That's it. You don't do that to your doggy. Darn you kids. I don't care if you want the drum with the little dancing things or not. Vampire gonna come. I'm gonna bend you over my knee and break you in half and stuff you in the hole in the tree and seal it up. Leave you there. Let the tree grow around you. Little brat. Crime in Italy. Goodness, kids. Scum of the earth you are. Wow. No wonder they call it scary stories. That's terrible. Beat their dog with a stick. And they broke the dishes too. Gosh, brats they are. They tore their clothes into pieces this time. They spanked their baby brother too. These kids are brats. Oh, gosh, Vampire picked a terrible story. Their mother began to cry. Yeah, Vampire Barry cried too. You're not keeping your promise, she said. Yeah, no kidding, Mom. Let's go. It'll be good, said Dolores. We promise, said Sandra. I can't wait much longer, said their mother. Please, try. Early the next morning, before their mother was awake, Dolores and Sandra ran to the gypsy girl, and they told her about the bad things they had done that day before. We were horrid, said Sandra. We were worse than the day before than we ever had been, said Dolores. Can we please have the drum? No, said the gypsy girl. I never meant to give it to you in the first place. It was just a game we were playing. I thought you knew that. See, it's the gypsy mentality. Dolores and Sandra began to cry, and they rushed home quickly as they did. But their mother and Arthur were gone. Oh, you brats, you drove your mother and Arthur off. They were out shopping, said Dolores. They'll be back soon. But they still weren't back when the time for lunch came. Dolores and Sandra sat lonely and scared. They wandered through the fields the rest of the day. Maybe they'll come back when we get back, said Dolores. Then they got home. They saw through the window that the lamps were lit and that there was a fire in the fireplace. And they did not see their mother. Instead, they saw their new mother with glass eyes glistening and her wooden tail thumping on the floor. See the neat artwork by Stephen Gomel? Yes, it's nice, isn't it? Stephen Gomel, good artist, guy with pencil. Oh, goodness, goodness. Okay, this one's called the window. The window. The window. You throw it out the window. Yes. Okay. So, Hart, you want to tell this tale too? Yeah, Hart, go and tell that tale too. Okay. Tell, Hart. Margaret and her brothers, Paul and David, shared a small house on top of a hill just outside the village. Oh, I hope this is a happier story. The vampire's still upset about beating the dog with a stick. It was so warm one summer that the night that Margaret could not sleep. Oh, don't I know that one? Oh, vampire hate the heat. She sat up in bed in the darkness of her room and watched the moon come across the sky, and suddenly something caught her eye. she saw two small yellow-green lights moving through the woods near the graveyard at the bottom of the hill. Maybe it was the dog that got beat, but no, it's the pig that ran away. That's what it was. It was Bacon that ran away. They looked like the eyes of a small animal, but they could not make out what kind of creature it was. Maybe it was a werewolf named RJ. Who knows? Soon the creature left the woods and moved up the hill towards the house. For a few minutes, Margaret lost sight of it. Then she saw it coming across the lawn towards the window. It looked something like a man. Yep, I know it was my friend Werewolf RJ. And yet it didn't. Margaret testified. She wanted to run from her room, but the door was next to the window. Oh, what do you do about that, Van? You in a real pickle. Pickles are good, aren't they? Or the bread and butter pickles with the little crunch and the little thing, the tiny pickles. Oh my goodness, vampire like so tiny pickles. She was afraid the creature would see her and break in before she could escape. Well, then the creature turned and moved in another direction. Margaret rushed to the door. But before she could open the door, it was back. Okay, here we go. Margaret found herself staring through the window at his shrunken face. That was like a mummy. Ooh, Emotep. 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 Remember that movie at the beginning, at the turn of the scene 3? Good movie. She wanted to scream, but terror took the sound before she could make it. Yes. And she was so frightened that she could not make a sound. See, I told you that I just said that before I even read the sentence. I haven't even read this story before. Michael Jackson was right when he wrote that song. You try to scream, but terror takes the sound before you make it. And she said she was so frightened that she could not make a sound. Michael Jackson must have read this story when he wrote Thriller. The creature broke the window glass. Oh, creature, you got to pay for that, Van. Unlocked the window and crawled inside. You broke the window glass and you unlocked the window. You already broke the glass. Just climb on through, you idiot. Why you unlock the window? I don't understand that. You broke the window and you unlock it, then you go... Being polite, I guess. Margaret tried to flee, but the creature caught her. It twisted its long, bony fingers around her hair, just like this. Pulled her head back and sank his teeth into her throat. Like a vampire does, but I don't hold the hair. No, I'm not going to give away my trade secret. Margaret screamed and fainted. When her brothers heard the piercing scream, they rushed into the room. But the time they got the door unlocked, the creature had fled, meaning it run. Little coward. Margaret laid on the floor, bleeding and unconscious. While Paul tried to stop the bleeding, David chased the creature down the hill toward the graveyard. But soon he lost sight of it. The police thought it was the work of an escaped lunatic who believed that it was a vampire. Oh, why do you always blame it on us? Come on, guys, be original for once. See somebody laying on the floor with a bleeding neck. Oh, it's a vampire. Oh, let's go up there and dig up bodies and start taking them. Oh, it's a vampire. Cut out their heart and burn it. It's not always a vampire. Give us a bad rap, people. Leave us alone. It's not always a vampire. 98% of the time, yes. But, come on, 2%, that's a big number. Police thought it was the work of an escaped lunatic. I don't want to read that again. That's terrible. Gosh. But Margaret recovered. Her brothers wanted to move her to a safer place when it would be harder to break in. But Margaret refused. The creature would never come back. She was sure of that. But just in case, Paul and David began to keep loaded pistols in the room. One night, months later, Margaret was awakened by a scratching at the window. Just like that. When she opened her eyes, there was the same shrunken face staring right at her. Uh-oh. The night her brothers heard her cries in time. They chased the creature down the hill. David shot it in the leg. Good for you, David. On a sprint. That's a heck of a shot, buddy. Good for you, buddy. And the creature managed to scramble over the graveyard wall and disappeared into an old burial vault. The next day, Margaret and her brothers watched as the sexton of the church opened the burial vault, and inside is a horrifying scene. Broken coffins, bones, and rotting flesh was scattered all over the floor. Hey, sounds like a party to me. Only one coffin had been disturbed when the sexton opened it. Sexton, isn't that the thing that the sailors look through to, find a plotting on the map? There lay the creature with a shrunken face that had attacked Margaret. The telltale bullet in the leg. No, it's the telltale heart. Not a telltale bullet. That's a different story. Okay? That's a sniper's tale, the telltale bullet. They did the only thing that they knew to rid them of a vampire again? You guys. The sexton built a roaring blaze outside the vault, fed the shrunken body to the flames. Well, thank you very much for not pulling out the pitchforks in the stake. And watched the body burn until nothing remained but ashes. Okay. Well, all right, that's original. They had a barbecue. Goodness. Little steaks and cut the head off and cut the heart out and put the head between the legs and cross the legs across the chest and all that old stuff, the deviant burials. Okay, here's another one. This is a good story, I hope. Called The Wonderful Sausage. Oh, good old sausages. Oh man. You ever been to Germany? Oh, back in my day it was called Prussia. Oh, they had the best sausages there. Oh, goodness, the Wiener Schnitzels. Oh, I had the Wiener and the Schnitzel. I love German Schnitzel. Gosh, and the Schnitzengrubens. Oh, vampire, getting hungry thinking about it all. God, get a fresh glass of beer. Oh, goodness. And get all fresh naked and eating a Schnitzengruben and a glass of beer. Oh, yeesh. Back in the human days, old vampire knew how to cut the rug and party then. Oh. One dark night, on a Saturday afternoon, grooving, on a Saturday afternoon, sat a fat jelly butcher named Samuel Blunt. That's a good name for a butcher, Samuel Blunt. And he had an argument over money with his wife. Okay, that happens. Her name was Eloise. Eloise Blunt, the butcher's wife. And Blunt lost his temper and killed Eloise. Oh, you bastard. Sorry. You schmuck. Oh, vampire, watch your mouth. It's a family show. Oh goodness, got too caught up in the story. Pardon me. Tried to edit that out. Lost his temper with Eloise and killed her dead. Spark of her life was smothered in shades. Then he ground her up into sausage meat and buried her bones under a big flat rock in the backyard. To keep the murder a secret, he told everyone that she had moved away. Actually, there was a murderer who was a sausage maker that had done that to his wife. Yes, it was out here in Pennsylvania. And I think they found her earring in the sausage vat, and that's how they ended up prosecuting him. Her earring was found in the sausage vat. This is back in the 1800s. Yeah, true story. Blunt mixed his new sausage meat with pork. Yes. And seasoned it with salt and pepper. Added some sage. I was going to say to put some sage in there. Just a touch of sage makes everything better. And thyme and a beat of garlic. Oh, geez, you have to put the garlic in there. No, Vampire likes some garlic too. Garlic is good. Very medicinal. It's medicinal. It's good. Very good. Good for the cholesterol. Keeps the cholesterol down. And it gave it a special flavor. Oh, I bet it gave it a special flavor. Little Eloise. And he smoked it as the smokehouse for a vial. And he called it Blunt Special Sausage. Couldn't you be a little more original? And there was such a demand for this new sausage that Blunt bought the best hogs he could find and started raising his own pork. I got the recipe from Sweeney Todd, I bet. He also kept a sharp lookout for humans who might come to taste his sausage meat. One day, a nice plump school teacher came by in his shop. Now, let me tell you, every human tastes different. It depends on their diet, where they've been, what medications they take, what laundry detergent they use. It all affects the way you taste. What region you're from, everything. So every human has their own unique flavor. So he has to go by region, and that will affect the taste of your sausage. Blunt grabbed her and ground her up. And another time, Blunt's dentist came by. Oh, you're going to chop up your dentist too? You schmuck. He was a little round man. And into the grinder he went. Then one by one, the children in the neighborhood began to disappear. You schmuck! Getting the children too, dude, you don't do that. Man. And so did the little kittens and the puppies. Man, Vampire, you should be nice to the puppies and the kitties and you're putting them in your sausage? Oh, dude, you're a piece of junk. But no one ever dreamed that Blunt the Butcher had anything to do with it. Everybody loved the Butcher Blunt. He is a very blunt man, isn't he? I bet you if they kill him and put him to the, burn him at the stake, they'd be smoking a blunt. Things went on the way for years. Then one day, Blunt made a big mistake. A fat boy came into the butcher shop. Blunt grabbed him and started to drag him off to the sausage grinder. Yeah, you don't grab the big boy like that and drag him, man. You got to conk him over the head first. unless you have the strength and the speed of a vampire. But the boy broke loose and ran out of the shop, and Blunt chased him down, waving a butcher's knife. That's your second mistake, you idiot. Don't be so obvious. When the people saw this, they realized once which had become of all the missing children and the grown-ups and the puppies and the kitties. An angry crowd gathered all around the butcher shop. No one knows for sure what had happened to Blunt that day. Some say that he was fed to his hogs. Could be. Others say that he was fed to his sausage grinder. That'd be poetic justice. But he was never saw again. And neither was his wonderful sausage meat. I bet they smoked the Blunt. So here's the interesting, nice Stephen Gomel artwork there. See, that was a good story up till the point where they were killing the puppies and the kitties and the children. Stupid guy. Final story, vampire having too much fun with this, and it's too sad, it's breaking my heart with the puppies and the children and the kitties and beating everything up. This is called cat paw. Look at that cat. Oh, that's a cool cat creature right there. That's pretty cool. Somebody was stealing the meat, Jed Smith said, in his smokehouse. Oh, maybe it was Mr. Blunt in the smokehouse. That'd be pretty cool, Mr. Blunt in the smokehouse. Every day, a ham or some bacon or something else was missing. Finally, Jed decided he had to put a stop to it. One night, he hid in the smokehouse with his rifle and waited for the thief. He didn't have to wait long. Soon, a black she-cat slunk in. She was the biggest cat Jed had ever seen. Then she jumped up and pulled on the ham hanging from the ceiling. Jed grabbed his rifle and turned on the lights, but instead of running away, the cat jumped at him. He fired and shot off one of her paws. Oh, Jed, good shot. Jed was sure that he heard the woman scream right after his gun went off, and the cat began tearing around the room, spitting and yowling. Just like that. And she ran up the chimney and was gone. Jed stared at the cat's paw. Only it wasn't a paw anymore. It was a woman's foot, really wiggling on the floor, all shot up and bloody. Oh, didn't see that one coming. Thought it was going to be a hand. So it's a witch that had been doing it. Well, finally, somebody outside of a vampire. So finally, it was a witch, he told himself. Just then, one of Jed's neighbors, a fellow named Burdick, come racing down the road to get the doctor. His wife's foot had been shot in an accident, and he told Jed, "She's bleeding pretty bad," he said. The doctor got to her barely in time. People who were there when it had happened said that she was spitting and yowling just like a cat. I bet she was, because it hurts getting shot in the foot. About the nerve endings down there, I'm sure. So anyway, thank you so very much for tuning in with Old Vampire again. Sorry for being Saturday scares. those migraines, you just never know when they're going to come. They're a terrible condition to have for a human vampire. It don't matter. They suck. They suck bad. Oh. So thank you all for being so very patient with old Vampire, and for tuning in to Vampire channel, and for being Vampire friend. It's good to be here. This Halloween season is such a good Halloween season. It's always good Halloween season. So you guys, you take care. Be safe out there. Be nice to your puppies and kitties. Not like the eggheads in this story. It's wonderful. They nice animals. Be good to yourselves. You deserve it. You earned it. And be kind to everyone else. It's goofy world out there. Everybody needs a friend. So be kind to everybody. Good ounce of kindness goes a very long way. And give kids good candy this year. Yes. And they come and say trick or treat. You trick them. See, what you do is you put candy in the bag and reach in, grab a handful out. Vampire did that. It works. It does. You put your hand in the bag. Kids aren't paying attention. It works. So try it. It goes along with the trick part. Yes, I got it off of a movie. It works, though. They have no idea that you're doing it. So, yes, it works. It's along with the rules of trick or treat. It's a trick, and you're giving them a treat, too, so you call it an even trade. So there's nothing wrong with it. Okay, so you guys take care. We'll see you next week. Be Halloween by that time, so be doing my annual tradition of reading either Charlie Brown or Legend of Sleepy Hollow. One of the two books, Charlie Brown, Legend of Sleepy Hollow, or maybe both. Who knows? Depends on which one Vampire could dust off in the library. If I find them both, we reread both. If not, we just read the van. But it's annual tradition to read one or the other. So, we'll see you then. You guys take care. Bye-bye.